Okay,
Tired.
you are tired. You can't tire of people. We're just starting. This is the year. This is just the second month of the year. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, there's really no way out of this for Nigeria. Last week I was complaining about all the issues Nigeria is facing, and apparently in just 1 week it has gotten worse.
Are they getting worse, or it has just been at the same?
I'm hearing unrest. Bank branches are closing down.
I mean, we were hearing that from last week now.
We hearing that from last week. Where am I in the news cycle? Anyway, guys, welcome to Techpoint Africa Podcast, and this is this is Nigeria, and we're talking all about technology in Africa, but somehow, because we're based in Lagos, we're talking about the issues we're facing, and we're going to be talking about it a little bit more in today's episode. But I have Bolu and Chimgozirim with me here today. Nifemi is off doing Nifemi things. Then we have Onome and Gracious behind the scenes, just really killing things and shouting on our head to start on time and end on time. But God will be with everybody.
Amen.
Amen.
They'll be fine.
Everybody will be fine. All right. So first things first. Last week we talked about. Did you talk about Starlink last week?
I
don't think we
so.
talked about Starlink, but yeah, basically Starlink has launched in Nigeria, and 1st of February, Nigeria's Minister of Communications and the Digital Economy, you can call him Nigeria's ICT Minister, said Nigeria now has 100% broadband penetration. That the records that the NCC has, which clearly states on their website that is 47%, that is clearly wrong. So I didn't say anything, right? I actually put it in the article that I wanted to just ignore. But the president also made the same claim. We now have 100% broadband penetration because of Starlink. So for the uninitiated, Starlink is a satellite internet service that is beaming internet signals down to Earth. I'm oversimplifying a very complex process, so just hear me out. But anywhere you are in Nigeria, the idea is Starlink can offer you internet service.
Okay.
It leads me to ask, what exactly is broadband penetration? Broadband, traditional fiber cable that connects to your house. So cable internet. If for those of you that use DSTV, you see that cable, that coaxial cable that you use.
That enters
DSTV.
your.
You don't have,
seen
you
it.
don't have money for DSTV.
What do you use in your house to watch TV?
Don't mind him. He uses internet, which is even requires more money.
now.
But I don't know what broadband and the cable.
You don't know what the cable is, but there's cable internet, there's satellite internet, there's fiber optic internet. That's what I use at home, Fiber One. This is not paid, and it's definitely not going to recommend them until they change. But that's traditional fiber. Then technologies like 3G, 4G, 5G, we consider them a form of broadband called mobile broadband, but that's not traditional broadband. So what does broadband penetration mean? Is it coverage or usage? How many people are using broadband is what the NCC has always deemed broadband penetration. So why is it that when Starlink came, we started celebrating 100% broadband penetration? It's just like saying a bank branch opened in front of my house. Automatically, I'm financially included.
I see what you're saying. They suddenly changed their definition of penetration.
So, and you know the crazy thing, even with financial inclusion, even if I open a bank account, you know the way all those banks do, they come and share form in the whole area so that everybody open accounts to meet targets. Even if I have that, I'm still not financially included if that's the only thing I have, right? So the usage, how many people are using broadband in Nigeria has always been the metric. So why change it because it's Starlink? Now, you talk about 100% coverage. You talk about, glass half full, blah, blah, blah. I'm seeing the responses you guys are putting on Instagram. And one even sent me an email that, I'm saying 12 is not the same thing as it's dozen. I said, no.
Email.
Yes, someone sent me an
Was
email.
that serious?
People are really, there are some really committed humans out there.
So, but this is the issue. If you say 100% broadband penetration and you mean coverage and you're celebrating it, guess what? I found out after I wrote that article that Nigeria already has 100% coverage since 10 years ago. You know, DSTV, Eutelsat and Intelsat, that's what DSTV uses to to transmit this thing.
Yeah.
I learned that Eutelsat actually has partners in Nigeria that have been offering satellite internet long before Starlink. Starlink's technology is way better.
Yeah.
They are faster. The latency is better, but satellite internet already exists. And wherever you are in Nigeria, you can actually access satellite internet for as low as 7,900 naira.
Way cheaper than Starlink.
Way cheaper than Starlink.
Can we not say the Nigerian? I mean, it's the Nigerian government. They are free to change their definition of.
No, they are not free to change it.
So if, let's say, we now have 200 million bank accounts in Nigeria, tomorrow you will not say
everybody.
I mean, we are already close. I think it's around 140.
That's not financial inclusion. There's insurance, there's savings, there's lending. How many people can access loans? You want to get a mobile phone? If you are not using any of these fintech apps, you are going to do like this.
Pay through your notes
before you get it.
Well, I have a theory that it's a. So they didn't. The person who wrote the press release that they used or they shared, the person made a mistake, or probably did not understand what the difference between penetration and coverage. And then both the minister and His Excellency, the two excellencies refused. They did not read it, or maybe they even read it and they still did not understand the difference between coverage and
penetration. So I really don't blame the president. That's not his purview. But the minister works very, very closely with the NCC. There's a national broadband plan of 2020 to 2025 that says Nigeria should hit 70% broadband penetration by 2025. And all of a sudden, in 2023, because Starlink came, you now want to do shortcuts. Look at it this way.
If he says that means they achieved their goal 2 years early. I mean...
So they sign off on a high.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a very good campaign material.
So I feel the issue is just understanding. I feel a lot of people do not... People, like those people that were telling you, glass half full, 12 dozen, they don't understand what.
No, it's not that they don't understand. They're just dishonest humans.
They don't, because
no,
they don't. So
for someone to tell you,
are telling me people understand that. People understand the difference between broadband. They know exactly how Starlink works, or they even know that we already had satellite internet before Starlink came. Are you telling me that a random person just knows all those things? It's not possible.
Not a random person. So you made a comment, or you wrote an article, and someone says you are portraying the country in a bad light. He's not attacking your facts. He's just attacking the implication of what you said.
Okay.
He's just pushing an agenda. He knows the truth. Did they say you lied?
No. The one even mentioned, he made reference to ChatGPT. ChatGPT says usage and access. The guy now said, our president chose access. Okay. So I should. So
they're just cherry picking facts that suits them. It's not like they don't know.
But ChatGPT actually meant a combination of both. You don't just pick one and leave the other one.
Choose the one that tells a better story for you.
That's the
in the WhatsApp group of people who, if you say that there's insecurity in your village, they will tell you that because there's no insecurity in their streets, that Nigeria is secure. You see creatures like that on Twitter. They are very, very common.
Okay, so but I guess they wanted to celebrate this to distract us from the bigger issue that's happening in the financial sector, cashless policy and whatever. So what's been going on so far in the last 1 week officially?
Is it that would be more like what has not been going on?
Okay, what has not been going on?
Yes, plenty things have been going on because first of all, it's still hard to access cash, very difficult. The CBN, a lot of people were hoping that the deadline would be extended again. And now we get a Supreme Court judgment that says the CBN cannot extend that deadline. We are still waiting. I mean, tomorrow is the deadline.
Well, I saw another Supreme Court judgment that says they can't ban the use of old notes.
Yes.
Beyond that deadline.
So, I mean, there's a whole lot going on. Now we have the courts telling the CBN what to do and what not to do.
Since when does that happen?
This is the first time I'm hearing it. Some lawyers say that the judge some lawyers say that the Supreme Court only only made a judgment based on the suits brought before them. And like someone pointed out, the CBN wasn't the party to that suit. So do you make I will need the legal people in the house to explain. Do you make a judgment that is binding on someone without him being a party to the suit. I don't know how that works, but then this is Nigeria, anything happens. But something interesting has also been happening. Sterling Bank has been on the offensive. So if you've gone to their Twitter, you would see them. Some people are saying that banks are holding cash, and Sterling Bank has been going after them. Like, it's not, they have this hashtag, I think hashtag facts only. So their official Twitter account is, you make claims like that, they are coming to respond. I've seen at least 3 since yesterday. And it's interesting because Sterling Bank is probably the only bank I've seen that is openly speaking out against the way the whole Naira redesign policy has happened. And they have announced that they are giving out free cards. So if you have a Sterling Bank account, you can get one, or you can open one and get free cards. They are waiving the fees. They're also waiving transaction fees for transfers right now. So
this is not sponsored by Sterling Bank, actually.
It's not sponsored. But you remember that the article I wrote, was it last week or this week, where I argued that we are not ready for a cashless economy.
Yeah,
one of the arguments was one way to maybe encourage people would be removing transaction fees. Sterling Bank looks like they are doing something similar. They are, so for a while they are going to be waiving transaction fees. They are doing everything to ease make it easier. And I've heard that they are one of the few banks that are dispensing the 20,000 naira limit. They are limiting withdrawals over the counter to 20,000 naira. So they are giving you the new notes in their branches. And unlike our Fugas,
Sterling Bank branches full tomorrow. Now they go play.
I mean, people already know because they send an email out to their users. So a lot of people put out those emails because. So I'm not a customer, but I saw a lot of people that put a screenshot of the emails from the CEO on Twitter and other social media channels. So I assume that a lot of people are going to Sterling Bank to do all of that. But it's actually very interesting because this is throwing up a lot of conversations. The banks were obviously not carried along in all of this. So they were sprung a surprise.
I beg to differ. Okay, maybe in developing the policy, they were not carried along, but so far so good. Why is Sterling Bank attacking people that are saying banks are holding cash? Because we are seeing new notes.
Yeah.
Where is it coming from?
So,
and we're seeing old notes. Where is it also coming from?
So the banks have one of the aims of this policy is to control cash in circulation. So one, the CBN is giving out less money than they would typically do.
Okay, so the CBN is not dispensing cash.
They're not giving out as much cash as we already used to. So now they want you to do your transactions online. And one way to force me to do that is to limit my access to cash.
But I went to ICM last week and I wanted to pay for chicken and chips at KFC. And almost no bank card was working apart from Zenith and GT.
Yeah.
My UBA was not working.
Yeah.
I couldn't use my first bank card because, strangely enough, KFC doesn't accept transfer. I don't know what you guys are doing. But yeah, that's the
situation on ground. So people are saying that the bankers are saying that their systems are overwhelmed. For a lot of them, their systems are overwhelmed. So they did not prepare me. So for something like this, you will
giving them time to beef up
their and then get ready. But now it's not happening. And the thing is, if the CBN says you are not giving out a lot of cash, who takes the fall for that? It's not the CBN. It's not the CBN that takes the direct fall. So how many CBN branches? Maybe 6 across the country. How many of them can we besiege and say we don't agree?
Do I even know where?
So those videos going around about banks hoarding cash, where we see vaults, where they'll put the old notes in front and put the new notes behind. Could it be that they were not real or?
So it's, how many bank branches do we currently have across the country? Probably 20,000 to, I don't know the exact number, but we have thousands of branches. If you get me videos from 4 or 5 places and put it on the internet, it's enough to incense people who are already angry. But it may not be painting a picture. We were having a conversation earlier about numbers. 5 branches out of 20,000 is just a drop in the ocean. So yes, there are probably bank branches that are withholding cash, but it may not be this. So I saw a very, very interesting argument. I've just not been interested in like thinking about all of this, but someone made a very interesting argument. Who loses out in all of this? Who loses goodwill in all of this?
Banks.
Exactly. The CBN, no matter what you do, even if they give you shitty service, they don't want you well to go and build another CBN, or can you even open a different account? So the banks are the ones bearing the brunt.
I've been seeing strange tweets from well-meaning Nigerians asking for fintechs to go and get commercial bank license. They don't know what is going on.
They don't know how much it is, how much it costs to just get ordinary fintech. A payment processing license in Nigeria, you need to put down, I think, about 2 billion naira. Last I checked, you don't get 2 billion naira on the streets. So if I wanted to start a bank, for example, we're talking about hundreds of millions. First of all, I think it's 25 billion now that you need to put up with the CBN for you to have a commercial banking license. I think it's about 25 billion or so, if it hasn't gone up. So you need a lot of money to do it. The average Nigerian youngster doesn't have that much money.
And the CBN
and that's just like
I'm not even
deposit though.
I'm not thinking of youngsters. I'm thinking of guys like Moneypoint. I was really, really pleasantly surprised when I found that in that same ICM where all the ATMs were moving sluggishly, Moneypoint was just behaving as if nothing's happening. It was just moving normally. So I'm thinking, okay, Tosin is a seasoned guy. He's not a small boy.
Yeah.
Definitely not a newbie in the banking space, right? So can Moneypoint do something like this?
Can they? Yes.
Bagard do something like
Will
this?
they? Very difficult. Do you know the kind of regulation banks have to go under?
Well, let's leave this. You're talking about 25 billion. Do you know who just lost $50 billion? Not naira.
It's 100 actually.
$100 billion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the AI wars have started.
Oh, yes. The AI wars have started, and I think who is winning? OpenAI is, for me, I think OpenAI is still winning. So what has been going on in the AI space, right? So, ChatGPT came in. I don't think I need to do any introductions for ChatGPT. If you still don't know what ChatGPT is at this point, come on, what are you doing? That means you don't watch the podcast.
No, they don't have broadband.
Exactly. You are proving our president wrong, so don't worry. So ChatGPT is, basically the AI chatbot, that came out sometime last year and has been dazzling everybody with its ability to give you, conversational answers when you ask it questions, very intelligent stuff. So, arguments has been going on about, because it's owned by Microsoft, right? So obviously,
fully owned?
No, not fully owned by Microsoft, but Microsoft is backing them. Investor, yes, is pumping serious money into OpenAI. OpenAI is the lab that created ChatGPT. So, it simply means if Microsoft is investing so much in these people, that means Microsoft has some AI, is envisioning a way to integrate them into what they do. So basically creates competition for Google. And why? Google is, I think, when it comes to search engines, Google has 60% of the market share. Right? And now Microsoft is saying, okay, this chatbot that is so good, that is excellent, let's integrate it into our own search engine, right? Which automatically creates competition for Google. Right. So, we've been saying, Google, what will you do? Google, what's going on? Google came out and Google told us, we can't move this fast. We have things that are even better than this. You can't see it yet because, we are big. We can't do. But then, I think this week, yes, it was this week, they came out and they were like, see, we are coming out with our own. And then they came out with BARD, B-A-R-D. And BARD was supposed to be a direct competition for ChatGPT.
Was supposed to be?
Is supposed to be a direct competition for ChatGPT.
So what now happened?
So in an unfortunate turn of events, I think they posted a promotional video for BARD, right? And then in the promotional video there was an error. BARD actually made an error, right? It was asked something. It was something related to NASA and the whole space-time continuum.
Yeah. So
right. So yeah,
they asked it what planet was the first exoplanet to be imaged. right?
Yeah.
Something like that. First exoplanet to be imaged, something like that. Then it mentioned a planet that wasn't imaged by a particular telescope at
NASA.
So I'm not going to be no need to be going into these specific details, but there's a telescope at NASA, very popular telescope, imaged an exoplanet. I'm already nerding out. Why trying to make things simple? An exoplanet is a planet that is outside the solar system. Okay.
So the telescope is called James Webb Space Telescope at NASA. Okay. So Batcha made a mistake, and then it affected Google's stock price, and then they lost $100 billion in valuation.
Wow.
Market valuation.
How much is OpenAI again? 27, Abi?
I mean, it's crazy. That's really crazy because, and Google said it, right? I think there was a leaked interview where employees were asking, is ChatGPT like a missed opportunity for Google? And then the Google CEO answered and said, it is not. We have things that are capable of this, which in fact they do, but we can't move. These things there are still a lot of limitations. Even when you use ChatGPT, you notice there are limitations. You ask it makes mistakes with numbers, some tiny details that you might even miss, but there are mistakes there. And this is the same kind of mistake that Bard made, right? But then there's
very, very big pressure on Google.
Exactly.
Promotional video.
Exactly. So I get he was right all along, right? The Google CEO, he was right all along. And I don't know why, because I don't know how this still came to bite them in the butt, because it wasn't as if it's now public. It's not as if everyone can use Bard now, right? It was just the promotional video, and it's really sad.
It's about perception. So the stupid thing about financial markets, maybe it's not stupid, but it's very funny to me that perceptions can just affect the market's value. So Elon Musk makes a tweet, and
Tesla
30 minutes later, Tesla stocks are dropping.
Yeah.
Why? What is the correlation on a normal day between what I see and the value of my? So I think that the financial markets makes you rethink what value really is. Because why is your action or maybe your speech alone able to affect the value by which your company is perceived? Because we haven't seen Bard have a negative impact on the business. Like maybe it made a wrong prediction or something. This was a demo video, right? It wasn't in actual use. So this was just a demo video. By the way, the person who shot the video and who recorded it, I believe they should be saying goodbye to their jobs by now, because it will be funny. So it's crazy. I mean, I pity them. Sundar has been having a good run as CEO, and then this now comes, and it's now making me wonder how much pressure he was on to have done that. Because first time when I saw everybody saying, what's Google doing? I know that a lot of people are looking at it through the eyes of maybe BlackBerry and Apple, or Nokia and Apple, because there was obviously a threat and you responded badly. So I guess Google was under pressure to respond. And for some reason, they decided that, okay, let's just take this and show you people that we really are. But if you ask me, I really think they would have been better off waiting, because this is just, a startup can't do much to you right now.
While financial markets can happen to anybody, right?
Yeah.
I don't think this is as much of a big hit long term for Google.
True.
This is just a short term market reaction.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but look at Tesla, for instance. When even before Elon started making weird tweets and the stocks were fluctuating,
up and down.
When they launched their bulletproof Cybertruck and they wanted to test it, and Elon used a hammer or something and truck, and it cracked.
Cracked, yeah.
Just imagine what would have happened to Tesla stocks that day.
Yeah.
So, but after that, Tesla stocks still came back up. So markets move up and down depending on perception, right? If Google decides to release this thing much earlier than planned to show that, hey, that was just a fluke. This thing is really, really good.
And I agree. I totally agree. And if I'm going to predict what will happen between, this AI wars, because I think more people are now coming in. I think we have Baidu.
Baidu, there's Quora, the release pool.
Interesting. Yes, so we have more people in the AI, joining the fight, trying to, I think it's now tagged now, all these wrestling
Africans.
fights.
So for Africans, right, I actually think Google's bad, or the model that bad is based on Lambda, might be the best entry point for many African innovators. So ChatGPT, GPT-3 or GPT 3.5 as it were, people built really, really good stuff on it, hyper specialized stuff that works better than ChatGPT for those specialized situations. For instance, Word Hero can write essays without stuttering. If you want to write an essay with ChatGPT, it gets to a certain point, it breaks off, it cuts off. Then GitHub Copilot have it on good authority that it's actually more useful for developers than, say, collecting those ChatGPT prompts, because things could get weird with ChatGPT when it comes to coding.
Okay.
So GitHub Copilot was based on GPT-3. Word Hero also based on that. The Robot Lawyer, which came extinct, is a specialized AI for law cases. So I'm envisioning that if Google opens up its model to African startups, we're going to be seeing more startups building stuff using that model. And for Africa, there are lots and lots of solutions that could potentially be solved.
AI.
So that's an interesting one, and I think I'm looking forward to it. And I'm actually, yes, I want to see competition in the search space with AI, but I actually want to see Google succeed with this.
I think they will. I think they will. And
I'm rooting
people
for
Africans, because they are bringing how many startups that are funding them and giving them GCP.
I think they will, because
cloud credits.
You mentioned GPT-3 now, which ChatGPT was created upon, right? And it's interesting to know that Google actually just invested in a company that a company just like OpenAI, right? They invested $300 million in that company. It's called Anthropic, right? And some of the people behind this particular company are the same researchers for OpenAI. So the lead engineer for GPT-3 is on this team. So I think...
You know what's weird?
What's that?
OpenAI early hires with Google AI.
So it's revolving.
I see.
So the bulk of the research for ChatGPT was done by Google engineers. So it kind of makes sense. Everything goes around, comes around. But I think we've dwelt on this topic enough. There were some announcements this week. You should check out on the Techpoint Africa website. Partech raised $263 million, one of the biggest funds we've ever closed.
I think that's the biggest.
That's the biggest for a fund in Africa. Awesome. We're not going to be dwelling much on it because we've talked a lot about it. Then Flutterwave just expanded to Egypt. That's a really, really big deal, because Egypt is not a soft market. It's a very, very interesting market, and we'll be looking at what's going on there, who's winning the payment wars in Egypt and Africa. And I think that's pretty much it. We'll have a big announcement coming to your eyes, ears, and
senses,
and all your senses. We're having a big announcement coming next week. I didn't take permission to announce it on the podcast, but don't worry, we have some nice tidbits to give you on the podcast. So see you in the next one, and give us feedback on all our channels: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and for our audiophiles, the ones that have been with us right from time, you can find us on
Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Hyatt Radio, and anywhere else you can get your podcast.
All right, bye-bye.